Hey everyone, another week over, and this one feels like a bit of a mixed bag in terms of reading. Some steady progress, a bit of frustration, but also a genuinely strong highlight that made it all worth it. Let's start with the big one. I'm still reading The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas, and I've now read roughly the third quarter of the book as part of the group read I'm doing with some other booktubers. And I will say, credit where it's due, the second half is definitely picking up compared to the first. The pacing feels a bit tighter and there's more momentum in the plot, and it finally feels like the story is actually building towards something instead of just wandering around. But, and this is kind of the ongoing theme with this book for me, most of the issues I've talked about in previous updates are still very much present. And the biggest one continues to be the characters. They're just so overly dramatic all the time. Every reaction and every interaction feels exaggerated to the point where it becomes hard to take seriously. And instead of pulling me into the story, it kind of pushes me away. I don't feel tension or investment. I feel like I'm watching a performance that's just a bit too much for my taste. And because of that, I still struggle to really care about what's happening. There are moments where I can see that something important is going on in the story, but emotionally it just doesn't land for me. It's like there's a layer between me and the narrative that I can't quite get through. And I also tried something different this week to see if I could improve the experience. I went into a few reading sessions with a mindset of treating the book more like a satire. Or at least something that isn't meant to be taken entirely seriously. And I thought maybe if I just adjusted my expectations, I might enjoy it more. But honestly, I don't think that approach really works here. If it is meant to be satirical, it's not coming across strongly enough for me to read it that way. And if it's not, then the tone just feels unintentionally exaggerated rather than deliberately humorous. And there are a few lighter moments here and there, but not really enough to really shift the overall feel of the book. And at this point, I feel pretty confident saying that if I wasn't doing this as part of a group read, I probably would have DNF'd it already. And I don't say that lightly, especially with a classic like this. But sometimes the book just doesn't click. And this one definitely falls into that category for me. That said, the group read aspect is actually what's keeping me going. Knowing that there are other people reading it at the same time, and that I'm not the only one struggling, makes it a bit easier to stick with it. And there's something kind of motivating about pushing through a book together, even if it's not the best experience individually. So yeah, I'm committed to finishing it at this point. I've come this far, and I want to see how it all wraps up. But it's definitely been more of a reading project than an enjoyable read so far. Yeah, thankfully I also picked up something this week that worked much better for me. The Four Ages of Death by Guy Rideau. And I've read the first two stories in this collection, and right away this feels like a step up from his previous short story collection. It feels like he got more, I would say, confident as a writer. And one thing I noticed immediately is that these stories are longer and that there are fewer of them, just 4 in total. And I think it gives each story more space to develop its ideas, which I think really benefits this kind of speculative fiction. And the first story is called The Day It Snowed Forever. And this one follows a young boy named Austin and his family during what starts as a severe snowstorm. And people are advised to evacuate, and most of the population actually does leave, but Austin's family decides to stay behind. And as the story progresses, the situation escalates in a really unsettling way. The snow just keeps coming, piling higher and higher until it reaches the rooftops. And it becomes clear that whatever normal life existed before is basically gone. And what really stood out to me was the perspective. The story is very much grounded in Austin's point of view, and I think that was the right choice. His thoughts and reactions feel very believable for a young boy in that situation. There's a kind of confusion and limited understanding that actually makes the story more effective, because you're experiencing everything through that lens. It gives the story a slightly surreal and uneasy feeling, because you're seeing these extreme, almost apocalyptic events through someone who doesn't fully grasp their scale. And that contrast works really well. I wouldn't say it's my favorite story ever, but it was solid and definitely kept my attention throughout. The second story though, which is The Four Ages of Death, was on a completely different level for me. This is the title story, and it's set in a far future where aging has essentially been cured. And people have a device implanted in their bodies that stops them from aging, allowing them to live up to 10,000 years. And because of this, aging itself is seen as a disease. And physically everyone appears to be around 18 years old. It's a really interesting premise on its own, but what makes the story work is how it explores the consequences of that idea on a personal level. Because we follow a couple who have been together for about 1,000 years, which is already a fascinating concept. And the central conflict comes from the woman deciding that she no longer wants to live forever. She chooses to remove the device and experience a natural lifespan, including aging and eventually dying. And that decision completely changes the dynamic of their relationship. And the story dives into questions about mortality, the meaning of life, and whether an endless existence actually enhances or diminishes what it means to be human. It's not overly complicated in how it presents these ideas, but it's thoughtful, and more importantly, it feels very human. And what really surprised me is how much it affected me emotionally, especially towards the ending. It really landed in a way that I didn't expect, and I don't often get that kind of emotional response from stories, but this one managed to do it. It's the kind of story that lingers a bit after you finished it, and you find yourself thinking about the choices the characters made and what you would do in that situation. So yeah, that was definitely a highlight of the week for me. Overall, I'd say this has been a bit of a contrast-heavy reading week. On one hand, I'm still pushing through the Three Musketeers that just isn't really clicking with me, and on the other hand, I found a short story that really worked and reminded me why I enjoy speculative fiction in the first place. And looking ahead to the coming week, the plan is pretty clear. First, I want to finally finish the Three Musketeers. I'm close enough now that it feels doable, and I'm definitely ready to move on from it. And secondly, I want to read the remaining two stories in the Four Ages of Death. If they're anywhere near as strong as the title story, then this could end up being a really solid collection overall. And then if I have the time, and maybe more importantly if I'm in the right mood, I might start The Light of Locke Lamora, which I pulled from my TBR jar for my May TBR video. And that's one I've been curious about for a while. I've heard a lot of good things about it, especially about the characters and the dialogue, so I'm hoping it might be a nice change of pace after struggling with the Three Musketeers. But we'll see. I don't want to force it. I'd rather just start with it when I'm actually in the mood to fully engage with it. So yeah, that's the plan for now. A bit of a cleanup, hopefully a strong finish to the current reads, and maybe start something new and more exciting. So yeah. And as always, let me know what you've been reading this week. Like always, I'd love to know what you've been reading. I think that was all for this week. If you made it this far, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next video.